We are gathered here to fill you with fear and give you a treat for your ears as we invade your mind with our scary rhymes and some tales that can be gory. As you bear witness and sit here and listen to our poetic horror stories. This is a story of Little Red Riding Hood and the big bad wolf who was supposedly up to no good. Well, that's the way the story goes. Little Red Riding Hood was the innocent one, you see. But if you take a closer look at the story, things aren't quite what they seem. What if I told you the wolf wasn't really bad? He had a family that loved him deeply, a daughter, a son, and a wife. They said he was a good husband and dad. That day, when he went out, he wasn't looking for prey. No, that day he just happened to stumble upon the path where Red Riding Hood led him astray. You see, Little Red Riding Hood hated living in the woods with her sweet little granny. And when she saw the wolf lurking, that is when she came up with a plan that was cunning. She thought it was outstanding. She quickly put her plan into motion. To catch the wolf's attention, she cried very loud with great emotions. The wolf came over concerned and asked her why is she crying. Little Red Riding Hood put on her best performance she could as she started lying. I'm on my way to my granny's home with the basket full of treats. But I got tangled up in this brush, and I fell and twisted my knee. And now the treats are wasted all over the ground. And my granny will be very upset with me. My granny sent me to the market to pick up this food for the month. And if I go back empty-handed, she will lay her cane to my behind. And I have no more money to go back and get more. It's getting dark and I'm running out of time. My granny isn't a sweet old lady. She's mean, bitter, and cruel. And I'm afraid to go back home with nothing at all. I know she will beat me black and blue. Now this had unsettled the wolf. He didn't want the poor child to be abused. He decided he would go with her and talk to her granny and let her know this was an accident. This was no fault of her own. These things just happened. She should be compassionate. Little Red Riding Hood was pleased that the wolf fell for her scheme. She said, "You would do that for me?" The wolf said,
"Yes, now let's be on our way. To your granny house. I promise everything will be okay."
But little did the wolf know that Little Red Riding Hood's granny was long dead and gone. From this world, she no longer roamed. Little Red Riding Hood had did away with her. She did it with a hatchet before she left for the market. And now she was setting the wolf up for the fall. He was her new target. When the wolf entered Granny's home, he could see everything was out of sync and wrong. The house was dark and very quiet. There was no movement. It was still and eerily silent. Little Red Riding Hood turned on the lights, and what the wolf saw filled him with fright. Granny laid in bed with a hatchet protruding from her head. Little Red Riding Hood just laughed and then said, "Wow, you have really big eyes. I guess this is taking you by surprise. And with your mouth agape open wide, I can see your teeth are big and sharp. I hadn't really realized. But now I know. You can tell you've been misled. But I need someone else to take the rap for my granny laying here dead. My granny was worth more dead than alive. And now with the insurance money I'm going to collect, I can get out of the damn woods and start a new life." But the wolf shook off the shock of this reality and wasn't giving in without a fight. He wanted to live, to get back home to his kids and wife. So the wolf roared and growled, ready to strike. But that's when a lumberjack with his axe heard all the commotion happening in Granny's home. And by him being the brave and heroic man he was, he just needed to investigate to see what was going on. He kicked open the door and saw the wolf was about to attack Little Red Riding Hood. He pulled out his axe and chopped the wolf's head off onto the floor. The poor wolf didn't see it coming. He was no more. Little Red Riding Hood knew the lumberjack would hear because he was nosy and always near. She knew his ego would lead him to break in, so she wasn't shocked. The lumberjack was her witness. This would help her get away with her plot. The lumberjack called the police, who investigated and blamed everything on the big bad wolf. They said he broke into Granny's home and murdered her and waited till Little Red Riding Hood came back with her food. But now you know the truth. Again, not everything is what it seems. And sometimes, bad people get away with doing bad things. The moral to this tale: use your best judgment when you decide to help someone you think is in need. Because sometimes, you could end up losing your life and paying the price for doing what you think is right.